Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to continue on from the amazing Natalia and Ian and introduce the conversation around intermediaries and aggregators. This is obviously not a new topic. I sit on the side of the intermediary. So I'm a chief exec for a company called XE, which is an exercise prescription medical device platform specializing for people with chronic conditions. Very interesting work going on in the industry, and it's a space and time that you've got from Natalia and Ian that is just exploding. It's fast, it's moving, it's changing, and it's never ending. This is not a project. This is a never ending journey we're on. And I'm delighted to be with amazing people actually help join this conversation and evolve this conversation for this year. So welcome to Ricard, welcome to Benjamin, welcome to Tom. We are going to have a great conversation, and I want to look to make sure that we add on to what we've just heard from Natalia and Ian, because this is a really exciting space. I'm going to start and just hopefully help evolve the conversation. So Ricard, can I start with you? Let's go first into you helping us set the stage of the landscape, because you've seen it from both sides. You've seen it from the aggregator side as well as the operator side. So set the stage for us. Where are we today? What's the models, and is aggregators around to stay? I think we've talked about this before. So where are we today?
Okay, so hello, thank you for this conversation. So basically, I come from Barcelona, from Spain. We have a family-owned business. It's 22 gyms in the city of Barcelona. And back then in 2011, I started the company called Gym Advisor, which was a B2C aggregator. And this aggregator was absorbed by a B2B aggregator. And I was working for them for good 2 years, and after that they came back to the family business. So I am back to being an operator. So I do have a little bit of experience on this topic. So it would be a pleasure to share it with you and to share all the information, of course. And from my side, I do believe that aggregators are here to stay. Aggregators have been here for the past 10 years. And they will probably be here for the next 10 years. And I do believe that they bring added value to the sector. And of course there's differences and there's opinions and different ways of seeing it. And there's, like, if we analyze the aggregators positions, there's the B2C and B2B. The B2C, which is what I started at Gym Advisor, this kind of aggregators, they also bring added value, but the situation here is that in this sense they have the same target as we do gyms, no? And because of that, I'm not so confident on it. But it is true, and Benjamin is going to probably explain very well that there's different ways to solve it and different ways to counter that kind of problem, no? On the other side, in the B2B aggregators, I do feel more comfortable. Maybe because I've worked there, I've seen the model, and I feel very comfortable on it. And I do really think that it brings a very good added value to the market, and it brings new users. And the reason why I say that is because normally, let's say Spain, for example, with an 11% penetration rate for fitness, we can aim for that, no? But when a B2B, like a pure B2B, like Gympass or another B2B aggregator, they close a deal with a company, they close for 100% of the employees. And once you go there and you talk to the company and you enroll them to the platform, you can raise that 11% several times X. So it brings new members. And then it was very funny because first I worked at Gympass, and then I went back to my company, to my family business. And then you see the results and you analyze the data, from the other side. And it's interesting because we saw like some very clear figures. For example, and that's good for the industry, so it can be shared. For example, 85% of the members or the users that they brought, they had never been our members, and they had not been at least for the past 12 months. So that's good data, and it shows that aggregators actually can bring added value, mostly B2B, of course, in my opinion, but I'm pretty sure it can work out. And that's my opinion on this topic, and I hope that in the conversation we can continue go more in deep into this kind of knowledge, and we can all share how it works.
Thank you, Ricard. Benjamin, what's your view in terms of B2C, B2B, harming the industry, growing the industry? What are you seeing from your side?
Yeah, hi, my name is Benjamin. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Urban Sports Club. So that's Europe's largest aggregator. We basically have connected 11,000 or more than 11,000 venues across 7 countries in continental Europe in the meantime, and started in 2012. And so we're already here for some time. I sometimes feel just the discussions about something new. Well, we're here we just heard it for 10 years. So I guess we already belong to the more mature models here in the market. Also looking into what Natalia said. We were talking about the B2C, B2B difference, and I feel that the difference is not as big. So what we actually aim for is, of course, to increase the amount of people going to our partners, right? So that's our main focus. And we have 2 groups that we believe fit best to the platform model that we're offering. On the one hand, these are consumers, and I'm talking rather about the generation Spotify, Amazon Prime, Netflix. So those people who demand having the biggest flexibility, the biggest variety possible when it comes to product consummation, and also actually to all areas of their life. And here we also see the same trend for sports happening. So you have those people, actually, I'm also one of them, who don't want to go always to the same club or always just follow the same activity, but want to have the variety, want to experience differences, and actually also talking here about consumers who do more sports than the classic gym goers. So that's a group usually between 25 and 40 years old, really looking into regular sports. And on the other hand, we have the B2B customers. So that's 50% of our client base. And these are basically members and people who get the sports subsidized by their employers. And that is a big trend that we actually see continuing, even though after the pandemic, or of course still being part of it maybe, or in the pandemic, but that trend has not changed. So the war for talent is still out there, and we see it in many markets, but also the topics of employer branding and the whole topic around health and sports and the importance of it, of all of those aspects and trends that we also have discussed in other sessions today. They're coming together here, and employers are now more keen than they ever were to put sports and fitness really as a standard benefit on the benefits table and on setup for the employees. And that's something that we, of course, bring onto the table. So target groups that we believe are hard to get for operators, and target groups that we then lead to operators, making sure that they get new people that they otherwise would not get. And as we just heard from the data that Ricard was presenting, there's also proof really that this is working.
It's a really important space, isn't it? That employee health space is a challenge for every country. Every health strategy is always trying to challenge and tackle, and how do we get to the people who need it the most, people who aren't getting off the desk and back into the gym and either before work or after work and so on. So it is huge, and I'm, from the health side, the economics behind from employee health is just huge. If we can get the vast majority of the employee space to move more often, the economics make total sense, and the reason for employers to subsidize it is absolutely powerful. There's no question there for sure. So Benjamin's kind of sold it to us for one thing. Tom, over to you. As the customer of the aggregators, what's your experience? Are you seeing it as a really good business strategy, positive for you? Is it part of your expansion plan? And again, tell us a little bit about you as well, Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Grace. Thanks for that. Yeah, calling in from Amsterdam. My name is Tom, co-founder of Saints and Stars. We're having a total of 11 clubs in Amsterdam, basically varying from HIIT classes to boxing to cycling to Pilates. So we actually we're active in a lot of fields that are trendy in the Amsterdam market. I basically grew up in the fitness business, so I've seen everything from the more traditional model to the budget model, mid-market, low budget, and high end. So you name it. Now very active in the boutique market. So I've also seen the rise of the aggregators in that way. So I think I can actually give a pretty good idea about what the impact is indeed for us as well. I think you can call us indeed consumers of the aggregators. Yeah, I think for us, what you see is that a lot of times what the aggregators actually do, they bring in a larger variety of people. I mean, I think especially for smaller gym owners, let's say when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clubs in a specific area, I think it's marketing is of course always an important feature. I think a lot of clubs focus on marketing, a lot of clubs focus on the things that they think they're good at. But I think what an aggregator really does really well is they open the market. So they really show the different clubs, the different options there are. They have, of course, because they have that many clubs, they have way more marketing power in that way, and they can really tell the consumer what is around there and what are the options. So in that way, I think, again, I've seen the rise of them. Before that, you saw like a lot of hidden gems, so to say, or clubs that people never heard of, and now it really becomes more and more open and transparent in that way. So I definitely think it's there to stay, and for us, it brought some good things to our business. So I'm more than happy to talk about that as well.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. And obviously, as Ricard mentioned as well, it's not something new for sure. Natalia, you're seeing it from all angles. You're seeing tech, and as you mentioned, it's fast, it's moving, it's changing. What's your thoughts on this? Is it crowded? Is it a space where hardware and software needs to be brought together more? Are we going to see more digital strategies where it's the non-brick and mortar side of things coming more into the fore? What's your thoughts?
Grace, this is a great question. And well, I think the place is definitely crowded, but not the interesting thing is that I don't see any gyms that are kind of super significant players in the space right now. I mean, just as an idea, at the upcoming FitTech Summit, we'll be speaking about the future of fitness and health and technology, and there is no single speaker from the traditional club industry space. So maybe I would just add some words on what Ben was saying, because I think this is a very important point, right? I think aggregators as employer benefits will really find their way into the market, because what we are seeing today is the decentralization of work, right? And there we definitely need to understand that people who are working remotely definitely lack this emotional benefits or emotional connection to their employers, right? So this is where aggregators and additional fitness benefits are coming into space, and where like leading and the bigger aggregators like Urban Sports Club will definitely have a huge advantage, because they are operating in several countries, and that also means that looking for talent in these countries will be easier, probably easier for the employers. But in terms of the market right now, I'm not in the aggregator business, I'm not in the fitness club business, so of course I do not have the insights that you guys have as someone who is running the business on the operational side. But what we definitely see right now is there are just way too many subscriptions out there. Like, as a user, you have the subscription to your gym, which is also, that's kind of a subscription, right? You have probably the subscription to your meditation app. You probably have the home fitness subscription or something like that. And then you have like on Spotify's and Netflix and all those things, right? And I think sometime in the next years, there definitely should come the consolidation of this space, right? And here, I don't even think that this is just going to be only about the fitness part of things, right? Because as Ben said, we are dealing with the Spotify generation, and what they do expect is the usability, which is very simple, and kind of the products that fit into their lifestyle. And for them, a subscription to a meditation app and a subscription to Spotify and Netflix account is probably pretty much on the same level in terms of the emotional connection and expectations in terms of the usability. So I think as we are coming towards holistic space, we'll definitely see consumers waiting for kind of overarching subscriptions, which could be like home fitness subscription, which could be gym subscription, meditation subscription, but probably also like fitness events, some races, some things that kind of fit together into their understanding of holistic health and holistic lifestyle. Does this answer your question, Grace?
Yeah, it's fascinating as always. I'm actually going to push back to Benjamin to get his thoughts on that as well. And I'd love to find out as well, is there a difference in the markets? Is some markets more mature, some markets still, still new in this? Why is there difference as well? Ben, maybe you can help enlighten us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely see differences in the markets in all means. So on the one hand, when we talk about the collaboration with operators, so we see a market like Germany, for example, where the majority of operators are already working with an aggregator. The model there also exists for many years already, while other markets turn out to be more complex, or where we see that operators are more hesitant to a new model like that. And Spain would be there an example where I feel that some of them have made, bad experience in the past, or are still not sure how this model will work then together with them. So there are definitely differences. Nevertheless, I think the trends that we were describing and talking about are the same everywhere. Yeah? Also here, again, we could say that the war for talent, I think, is in France, the Netherlands, Germany, maybe a bit tougher than it is in Spain and Italy, in the southern markets. But that benefit for health, I think that is something that is coming everywhere. And we see it also in other markets, of course, that are investing in that for much longer time. In Poland, for example, that this is something that I strongly believe in, that is here to stay, and that's a trend that we really then see in all markets.
You've mentioned the health now a couple of times, and I think that's where it's very interesting. Every conversation I've had recently is how the fitness industry and the health and healthcare industries are just coming together more and more and more. And I think this is what we're talking about is a huge part of that strategy, to bring people and tech together, with people to people together. Going back to Ricard, did you see that as well when you were at the likes of Gym Pass and your own aggregators? Were you seeing it as in the early days as well? Has it evolved more? And are you thinking that it was always going to be on a health journey, or is that something that's relatively new, and has COVID influenced that?
So as Benjamin said, it's true that in Spain it was troubling at the start. We had quite a lot of trouble with the B2C model. And also I've seen the evolution and working with the B2B and how it helped, and then once the gym understands the business model and how it works, and they start to see how you bring customers to them, then I see two different kinds of operators. One is the operator that just waits there and waits for these clients to come, and then gets the revenue that the flow brings. And then there's the other operator that decides to engage with these clients and provide the service that they're supposed to provide, what we try to do. And this can help more visits to the gyms, and then brings even more revenue. So the fact that the operator is very well engaged with the aggregator, and the good communication between both of them, it can help like getting people more active, more users, and more revenue for the operator, and more happy for the employee, and the company at the end is happier. So then it helps the whole ecosystem. So when the operator starts getting involved and understands the model and gets involved with it, everything works out much better.
May I add something here, because I think that's a valid point, and we see more and more operators really trying to engage with members, for example, of Urban Sports Club very early on in their fitness journey, and knowing that they want to convince them as soon as they become members of Urban Sports Club to really then on a regular basis come to them, making sure that they start their fitness journey with them, and then convincing them, of course, to stay and to use their facilities as often as possible. And that is actually also how we see, also when it comes to our features, for example, the moving forward, that we want to make sure that also operators can use our platform to communicate to members, even though they're coming by an aggregator, and then motivating them to come again and again, and as often as possible.
And Ben, what you're saying is really like, it's a very positive surprise for me, because this is not a surprise that most operators have been in the kind of the space rental business so far, not in the user engagement or goal kind of attainment business, right? So I think what the operators have understood now, that the users are expecting concrete results, they are expecting accountability, they're expecting that the gyms that they are part of will take care. And I think this is something that we definitely also need to consider for the future.
Tom, you want to rob the customer, right, from Ben and the platform itself. So going back to revenue for a second there and pulling at that thread, Do you care about health? Is it all, are we still on the revenue? Are we still talking about getting people in the door? The more come in the door, the more chance they are of staying. Or, how do you see it? Because obviously this is still a business in end of the day. And are we talking about health just because it's helping to pull in more members?
I think, first of all, Grace, I think every gym operator that is active on an aggregator platform is always looking for one thing. I mean, a person, best case, works out 3 to 4 times a week. I think they make a choice there. So I think what every gym tries to do, and that's the same for us, is, of course, we try to interact with that member as much as possible. Ideally, to really promote our own business and to really make them feel good and focus on what they like. And I mean, we're definitely not trying to rob members. However, what we of course try to do is whenever someone comes in like 2 or 3 times a week to our club, sure, we are more than happy to actually sign them up with our business, simply because, well, then apparently they come so often to us, so that it actually makes sense to actually join our business. But again, I think it's always a combination of a healthy combination of having your own members as an operator, and a healthy combination of having a part of the members coming in through an aggregator. Because I think because we work in the boutique industry a lot with millennials. Millennials want to switch around things. I mean, I think an operator, and we're active then with the group in a lot of different concepts. But let's say you only have a yoga studio and the only thing you offer is yoga. Well, you definitely need the aggregator as well, because not everyone would want to do yoga 3-4 times a week, or even 2 times a week. I mean, they want to do different things. And I think that's really where the combination between an operator and the aggregator really comes together in that way. And I think in the end, of course, the main thing we want is we are health. We provide a service of making people healthier. So that's definitely, of course, a main goal for us as well.
Maybe Tom, if I can add here, I mean, we're targeting, if it comes to B2C consumers, we're targeting people who pay 60 to 100 euro a month
right,
for their sports, which is quite significant, right? And if you then have people who then go 3 to 4 times to always the same studio, probably it's even less, then of course it's worthwhile for them, and it's a better bargain to just have a membership with that studio. And that's part of the model. And so there's no harm in the relationship if members then move from the aggregator to the studio, because they just believe, hey, I'm just going to one club, and it will be definitely cheaper then also just to go to that club. That's also the model.
And I completely agree with you there, Ben, because I mean, what you really see is the aggregator brings in a lot of new members, and if members really like it, then they actually sign up with the club itself. Completely agree with that. We really see that trend happening with us as well.
But
does it happen in the reverse way?
What's
Are we
that,
seeing it happen in the reverse? Are your members then signing up for the platform because they want to join other sports, other activities?
Definitely.
Going back to your point around different people are trying loads of things and
it works both ways. We lose members and we gain members because of the aggregator, for sure.
Tell me, Tom, the revenue model, there's different revenue models out there. Can you explain which one you've chosen and why it works for your business versus some of the other operators that be listening who have a different model in terms of costings? Yeah,
right. So we work actually with 2 different models, which you see a lot in the boutique industry. So we work with a membership model, an unlimited membership model, a pay-as-you-go system as well, to keep it also flexible for people. And that I think those two models you see the most in the industry, and we work with both.
Natalia, now that we've seen one of the biggest investments in the space between MindBody and ClassPass, this is the first of potentially many, but quite groundbreaking for the moment. What's your thoughts there? What's going to change?
Oh, well, this is a great question. I think, Grace, no one knows like 100%. And I believe that Ben has a very special opinion on that, the way he's smiling. And I think what they're trying to create is kind of the wellness operating system, right? Because they also use, they don't only have fitness classes. They're also going into well-being, into beauty, and all those things, right? So time will show if this works or not. But what definitely will work for them is probably the data aggregation that they will kind of be able to lay together. And this is what Ian was speaking about before. I think this is very powerful, because by having lots of usage data and having access to the users directly, they can really develop products that are more specific and catering to the specific needs of the users. But, well, we don't know yet. What I do know is that I believe that the discussion that we're having right now, it's a great discussion, but I think it's kind of a bit of narrow, because I think we are still like in this old thinking, like business models, operators, aggregators. Let's just think about something different. So what is actually the future of gyms? What is the future of aggregators? And I believe that here we'll be speaking about gyms as kind of the, it's kind of the mobile service. You combine hardware and software, and hardware could probably be the gym itself, right? And probably also home fitness hardware, and software, all the services on top. This could be an aggregation business model. This could be also access to live classes, where Urban Spots and Benjamin have really ramped up during the pandemic, right? This could also be something different. And in the future, we'll be subscribing to a gym and expecting that we have like different services delivered on top, which would be some, additional shakes, or probably some kind of consulting services, or probably some personal training services that are also included. So all this model that's actually existing right now will be just combined in a different way. And I'm super curious to hear what you guys think about that, because of course you are the insiders in the industry. Do you think this is something that you will be addressing in the future, or would you say this is totally unrealistic and this is something that we do not have to take care of in the next 3 years?
Then some future roadmap, I think, reveals are necessary to answer that one.
Come on, Ben, tell us your secrets.
No, I think we touched upon those topics also earlier. I think you're definitely right when it comes to people not wanting to have 10 subscriptions in the area of wellness and fitness and health, but rather having maybe a single access point where they can then get everything that they need in the situation that they're currently in, whether it's, I don't know, stress relief or mental health or whatever it's needed. So I believe the strong topic will be around APIs, and we're having here at the European Health and Fitness Forum already many talks around that subject, that everyone wants to connect to the other players, creating here really value for operators and members. Of course, also then utilizing data, making sure that we find ways to inspire and motivate people, to make sure that they stick to routines and become more active. And that's something that we're also working on quite a bit in the background, making sure that we get connections to software providers, to hardware companies, and making sure that we have really an ecosystem that we can offer. And always the key is easy access. And that is easier than it sounds.
So Ben, when will we see the first home fitness company using Urban Sports Club for their services?
Yeah, also a fair question. And here, in all transparency, there's no one on the roadmap already where we would say, hey, in 3 weeks, in 3 months, there is this home fitness player also on our platform. I mean, we're focusing on our partner venues. Yeah, we are offering 25,000 live streams a month, and they're all coming from our partners. So we have not incorporated any, I don't know, third-party integrations. We're always trying to find solutions with our partners, using their power and their knowledge to then motivate new people and inspire people. And we're trying to find solutions here together. Hence, home fitness currently is not our main focus.
And Ben, you just mentioned live streaming. I'm sorry, Grace. I'm just so curious. Now that I finally have Ben on screen, we talk way too little with each other. So, Ben, do you actually think that gyms have to define their business as the business of fitness, or are there actually more content companies that are doing, live streaming and user engagement stuff more and more?
I would definitely not recommend now every club owner and every studio to start live streaming. Although we see a great usage, and by the way, 10% of the sports participations that we have on our platform are now coming from live streaming and on demand. So that was not the case in 2019. Yeah, we just started with that, and we still have the same people. So you see that there is a bit of a cannibalization also going on still. I don't believe it makes sense now for everyone to just jump ship and go into the online business, because there will be a lot of partners who really specialize and maybe even then shift their main focus on this. But we actually need to understand the new trends here, and I believe that connecting equipment, although that still is far away for a lot of people, is the future also here. And I also believe that having transparent data about the people that are coming and knowing also how trends evolve will be kind of something that we in 3-4 years talk about and see as a standard. All those software tools are also in our interfaces for providers. So I think that is still a shift that we need to go, working with data, yeah, and knowing how we base our businesses on it. But we also want to drive that forward and make our industry better with this.
Let's keep going with that thread a minute, because the governments are trying to do the exact same, right? So if governments are looking to do similar population health that the employer is trying to do in employee health, why wouldn't that be an option where a government is working with the likes of yourselves in order to provide a platform for a nation, and in particular the nation that aren't that 15-20% that are already engaged? So broaden it out further, not only those that are employed, but those that aren't employed, those that aren't accessing for gyms as well. Why wouldn't that become a thing?
I think it's a very interesting topic, how governments can help actually us all to make sure that people are getting more active and to lower all boundaries. And we see, of course, already in actually all markets that there are some budgets, for example, for employers, how they can subsidize the sports of their employees. Still, the restrictions are really high and are often quite bureaucratic. I mean, I mentioned Poland earlier. I believe that's a country where we see how it could also work, where we have like dedicated budgets from the government, basically asking every company that is bigger than 50 employees to create a benefit fund for sports and health and leisure activities. So it's more broader there. But that, of course, gives the whole market a big push. And I believe, I don't believe actually that we need to push or force all companies now by governments to subsidize sports. No, I think that will happen because of trends anyways. But we need to have like really a discussion around what kind of budgets employers have when it comes to sports subsidies, and not being, for example, in Germany, focused just on the paragraph 20. That means all like certified classes just coming from health insurances with a lot of restrictions around it. I think we need to invest in movement and make sure that everyone who moves gets benefits on it, not only in terms of health, but also in terms of subsidies. And that traction again, tracking becomes certainly something more and more relevant in the future.
So Natalia, it sounds like you need to get Fiona Bull from WHO into a conversation around it as well, so we can join the dots here between government funding, government, and I suppose the world targets for health and the industry and together. So I think there's a lot of, maybe you're probably the right woman to put in the middle of that conversation, I reckon, of joining the dots together.
Chris, I have no idea about governments, and I would really be a real bad politician. So I think the thing about governments is, when Ben is speaking about movements, that's exactly the problem, because here in Germany we do have a very special history with movements which are government-led. So I'm not sure if this will work. I would be happy if this could work, because this is definitely something for a good purpose. But you know what? Let's just think. I believe that fitness is really becoming the new religion, right? And that means people are deriving their sense of purpose from fitness. They have the feeling they're becoming better individuals, right? They have this sense of belonging to a particular community of people. So this is all the attributes that fitness and religion kind of have in common, right? And I also believe that companies like Adidas are pretty good in uniting communities around specific goals which are good for the planet or for themselves or for something else, right? Like the Adidas has this Run for the Ocean strategy, where they do engage lots of users in running activities, right? And this is not something like we run because we want to be healthy, because this is kind of boring, right? But if you run for something you believe in, right? Something that you have the feeling of belonging to, this is a different story. And I believe that companies with a strong purpose, with a strong sense of purpose, with a strong sense of social responsibility, are way better positioned to do these things, because they have built up the communities of people who really believe in the product, who believe in the purpose of this product. And this is definitely what they should monetize in a good way, or in a good meaning of this word, by helping those people to be part of the movement, part of the community, and becoming healthier in the process.
Ricard, considering you've seen it from both sides, Is it a win-win all around if we all work together and it all is joined up dots and technology joins people to people and purpose and health and fitness and healthcare? Is it a win all around?
Yes, 100%. I do believe that if people, well, we all know that if people is healthier, there's less cost for governments, there's people more happy, everything is much better. During COVID, we have seen that people who were unhealthy, they were having much harder time. And I think we all play a good role. Gym operators, aggregators, all kind of platforms, and getting people healthier, I think it's much better. What would be really amazing is that the government step in and they decide for common taxes on different countries, they decide on benefits and everything, and that would be really helpful for the industry. I think it's we're losing a bit of the story here, not getting them on board to get better solutions for all of us. Because really like taxes and benefits would be something super important to get people more active.
Yeah, I think you're right there. We're bringing the fitness industry beyond just fitness, right? It's much more bigger, and it's thankfully COVID, I think, has helped move the industry in the world forward, and there's one bit positive to come out of that. Tom, what's your final thoughts? Conscious of need to wrap up on time. The world of intermediaries, the world of aggregators, the world of tech and government and so on, employer health and so on. What's your final takeaway to all the operators out there thinking are they still skeptics or they're on the journey same as yourself?
What I would say to them is basically you cannot be skeptic about something that you haven't tried. So I think everyone should read the information out there, talk to colleagues, because again, we together we know a lot, and then just make a decision for yourself. I think it can bring a lot. I think the more we do together to activate the market in general, the better it is. I mean, I think if everyone keeps doing their own thing very isolated, I think we'll never grow as an industry together. So I really think doing things together and doing it in an open and fair manner is just the best way there.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah, that makes total sense. Guys, I think we've opened up a lot of conversations. I'm hoping that everyone in Cologne has got a bit more broad mindset as well, think big, start small, which would be a saying, but the idea that this industry is beyond fitness. It's gone beyond that now. It is more than just the fitness. It's more than bricks and mortar. It's more than getting people in the door and the revenue for sales. It's much more than that. And, you know, we have the technology, we have the people, we have the strategies, we have the purpose. So I think it's a very exciting time, and no doubt the technology like yourselves are in the middle of it. So it's exciting, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this conversation in the next few weeks and months. And I wish everyone in Cologne the best tonight for dinner, and I'm going to hand back to the studio.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.